Obviously, Blake Frazier's first extended opportunity on Saturday. Can you kind of detail his progression to get to this point?
Yeah, really proud of him. Really proud of the player he's become, and having those extra O-lineman reps are huge. We've really done that the past years of getting young guys time to play, or getting another guy that we feel that could be a starter or a guy that's going to play extra reps. So you've seen the progression. Obviously, gained the weight. I think he came in at like 255 or something like that, 245, and about 300 now. So having a guy like that ready to go was huge, and played well. Got some things to fix, as we all do, but definitely stepped up in a time needed.
And have you been able to identify any trends as in regards to the fourth down struggles this year?
No, we got to execute. There's, the one away from the student section, we lost a block. Else it might be a touchdown, and then the drop. We dropped the ball. So we've got to fix that as a team and a unit, and we will.
On the left, Chris.
With Evan, do you have a prognosis on him?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as we thought. I think we'll have him back sooner than later. So we'll see. We'll just take it week by week.
And then what's the who are the backup tackles at this point then?
Yeah, so Blake will start, and then Brady Norton will also play some tackle as well. He's played that before in his career, so we always had that plan, and we'll move guys around accordingly.
On the right here, Aaron.
Could you speak to the emotion of Michigan State week? I mean, you got a younger roster,
Yeah.
Some guys that maybe are from the state. What's the education like for the team?
Oh, well, we during training camp we talk about our rivalries. We talk about every game. We talk about all the big games, and but they'll definitely re-educate them on what this means. This means a lot. This means everything. We'll talk about Paul Bunyan, what that means to us here in this facility in Ann Arbor and the University of Michigan. We'll talk about the history of the rivalry, what it means, and all the implications of what winning this game is about. So we'll definitely educate our young guys and let them know that this is a game we put everything into.
Do you remember your first introduction to Michigan State rivalry?
Yeah, it was pretty intense. It's 2018. It's Devin Bush stomping on the field. So I got a quick one to that one. So I was holding Devin back while he was trying to fight half their team. So I got introduced fast, but that was a good game. So I remember we had all 4 seasons in that game. It snowed, it rained, it was sunny, it was windy, it was everything. So. But yeah, that was my introduction to the game, is the Devin Bush and 2020 and 2018.
On the right here, Larry.
What jumps out at you about Nick Marsh? And when you look at the Big Ten games you've played so far, you just marvel at every week, a team has 1 or 2 or more top flight receivers.
Yep, big, strong, physical receiver. Can make the 50-50 ball, really good route runner, detailed in his route runner. He's evolved as a route runner, but he's a really good player, man, so we got to have a great plan to stop him.
And then does it seem like every week it's like that in the Big Ten?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just the Big Ten. I think every week you got great players on both sides of the ball, so there's never a break of, you're going to get this weekend, you can take a breath. If you decide to take a breath, you're going to lose, or you're going to be in a bad mindset. So every week you got to prepare for the best.
On the left, Isaiah.
You guys who have played in this rivalry have always talked about how physical it is, and also some of the extracurriculars that happen. How do you prepare younger players like Bryce for something like that?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that you're not going to win the game talking. You're not going to win the game with all the extra stuff. So conscious effort on just attacking what we need to attack to win the football game. The fans, the crowd, their players talking, people talk, that doesn't matter. So we have to worry about executing and putting in the work to go win the game. That's it. Don't worry about all the other stuff that can harp you from, exerting energy on things you don't need to exert on.
All the way in the back right, Andrew.
Sherrone, I know you were asked about the memes with your jacket, but in all seriousness, when you have a game like you did against USC and then you come back and do what you did this past Saturday, is there any personal satisfaction in silencing some of the outside critics, I guess?
No, I really don't care about the critics. So, but it is kind of cold outside, so having a jacket is nice when it does get cold, because I get here pretty early, about 5:30 in the morning. It's like real feel was 43, so it's good to have a good jacket.
On the left,
Yeah, you got a nice shirt though. Decorative.
Don't.
Two real quick. First, was the 3rd and 11 to Deacon actually intended for Andrew Marsh? And secondly, or like with that, how good do you think Bryce is in terms of when there's pressure? I know you don't want pressure, but
Yeah.
he can still make those plays, whether it's standing in there or running around.
Yeah, it was to Deacon. And you know, it's crazy. Him and Deacon all summer, he worked a lot with a lot of guys, but I remember early mornings in the summertime, Deacon was here. Maybe it was even May when he was here. Deacon would be in there with the receivers, you know, throwing and catching. So he's put a lot of hard work in to get where he is. And that game was no accident of his potential and what he can do. So that was awesome to see. And, I mean, Bryce he does some things sometimes that you can't teach, you can't coach. That throw was one of them. The throw to Andrew Marsh, which he caught one-handed, was one of them. Throwing to his left, the defender's to his right. He throws it away from the defender. Andrew catches it with one hand. I mean, there's some special plays by some freshmen. So he does some things sometimes that you can't coach. But, you never want the pressure, but he does a real good job of evading it.
With Marsh, I know early in the year didn't play as much, and then he's had the 3 kind of monster games. What wasn't he doing, I guess, the first couple games that didn't allow him to start, but then he progressed into?
Yeah, as a true freshman, you got to learn where to line up, you got to learn where to go, you got to learn the playbook, you got to be able to execute everything at the highest level, and he's just done that more and more and more, and really after the bye week, you really saw it even more, and there's full confidence in him to go out and execute, and he's put himself in position to do what he's been doing.
We'll run right here, Dennis.
Sure, I heard what you had to say about the rivalry stuff, but you just, you had stuff before the game, after the game, tunnel. What are you reminding your players about when it comes to all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that none of that helps you win the game. It actually takes away the energy from you winning the game. So all we have to do is, rinse, repeat. But urgency is the key word right now. Urgency in everything we do. Urgency in the detail. Urgency in us going to class, making sure everything's aligned perfectly for us to win this game. So we can't worry about the past, but we can learn from it and learn about those things. So we're just going to continue to harp on that. All that stuff doesn't matter. Just work on the things we need to work on to win the game.
I know your injury list isn't ironclad, but you said that the guys that they practice, you put them out there. Do you anticipate Hellman, Hanson, Moore, those guys practicing or being on the injury list, or how's that work?
Do I intend? What'd you say? Say it again.
I don't know. Do you anticipate those guys practicing?
Yes. Yes.
You're back right there, Charles.
Yeah, what are your initial impressions of Michigan State on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, starting on offense, Childs is a really good quarterback. He does some really good things. He's created some explosive plays with his legs too. A little similar to last week as far as an explosiveness with his legs, not as twitchy as Williams was, but he definitely can make those plays with his legs, and he does a good job with play actions and things in the pocket, rolling out. So we got to do a good job containing him, and obviously Nick Marsh, we got to do a good job with him. And then the run game, schematically, Coach Smith and that staff has done a good job always going back to Oregon State of whether it be under center, gun, pistol, whatever it is, of doing things to attack your defense. So we got to have a real good plan to defend and be gap sound.
And defensively?
Defensively, been against this coordinator. He was at Minnesota in 23, and obviously last year and this year. So base 4-down defense. They want to start in quarters. They'll roll to 3. They'll play in a little bit more cover 1 now. So we got to do a good job of schematically, attacking those coverages and the front structures.
Over on the left, Anthony.
Sure, with the amount of freshmen and redshirt freshmen that you guys have, affecting games right now, how exciting is that for you guys, not just for the rest of this year, but maybe what it could set up in the equity for the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You bring in high-quality players, you bring in high-quality kids, and you give them the opportunity, and if they're one of the better ones, it allows them to play. And these kids are getting those opportunities. They're taking advantage of the opportunities, but we can't, I was thinking about that the other day. I think we're the youngest team in Big Ten, but it doesn't really matter. We have to attack now. We can't worry about next year or next week. We got to worry about today. So everything we can do to help these players be the best version today, that's all we're going to do.
Over here on the right, Tony.
Yeah, Michigan State's lost 4 in a row coming into this, and it's different. But last year, you guys didn't have the season that you wanted leading into that Ohio State game. I wonder how much can a rivalry sort of get a team to bring out their best?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Records don't matter. Records do not matter in this game. So you can't look at the past and say, oh, they're going to do that. No. we're going to get everything they got. We're going to get their best. They're going to get our best. So it'll be a great game, be a physical game, be a great atmosphere. So that's all we can worry about.
And then the word respect is thrown a lot around with especially the Ohio State rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that one with this rivalry too? Maybe it's not talked about as much.
Yeah, I mean, I respect them. Respect the coaching staff. Respect their players. Fear nobody, but respect them all. So, yeah, I respect them.
Over on the left, Zach.
You guys limited Demond as a runner a lot this past weekend. Where do you think the defense has grown in that regard? And then, obviously, you spoke on it a little bit, but Childs can also make plays.
Yeah, I mean, everybody did their job to the best of their ability, and I thought it was a great plan of how we were controlling him and making sure he didn't get out the pocket, and he didn't affect us as a runner in the quarterback run game or protection and scrambling out, because that's where he was dangerous. So there was always eyes on him, whether it would be 3 rushers, 4 rushers, movement with rushers, and we got to continue to do that as we go through the season.
Do you view Childs as something you also always need to have eyes on?
Oh yeah, for sure, because he's got that ability too.
In the back there, Angelique.
Sure. What has distinguished Derek Moore's play? And he looked like he had a pretty exceptional game on Saturday.
Yeah, he played outstanding. I mean, you just get better and better. And the opportunities don't always find you, just because sometimes, they slide to you, you're moved around, you're almost at the play and you don't make it, or the blocks and whatever the scheme that week, run scheme, is not allowing you to make the plays, or the protections, they're sliding to you. So he made the plays when they're to be had, and he really practiced like that too.
And as far as this rivalry, a lot of observers, fans think it's become toxic. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't worry about what everybody else says. So it's a respected rivalry. We respect them, and we got to go out and go win the game.
Over on the left, Chris.
With a young quarterback, with Bryce, at what point do you allow him to go to the line and maybe have an opportunity to change a play and audible on his own?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of done that throughout the games. He's done some stuff like that, but there's just a parameter that you always give people. Even with JJ, we did the same thing. He didn't just change plays all of a sudden. So there's checks within plays that we give him, and then there's things we look at, to change the play. So I think that'll just come as we go.
And that'll increase as he goes on?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was a spot on Saturday. What goes into a challenge of a spot? I don't know if you saw it on review.
Oh, yeah, I tried to challenge it. They didn't let me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you do? Were you trying to call timeout, or what did you say?
Just tried to challenge the spot, but sometimes when you're told by the refs you can't challenge it, don't challenge it. So.
What was their reasoning?
Whoa, Angelique.
Sorry.
They can't get into that. It's not my avenue. So I just worry about the game. That's it.
Can I ask
You two are
real,
both being fine.
can I ask real quick about Rayshon Benny?
Yeah.
Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he's doing okay. I think we'll look to see if he can practice this week and see where that goes. But we'll know in the middle week where he is.
Done deal.
We'll worry about your fines later.
Yeah.
John, on the left.
A little follow-up on Bryce. More than halfway through the regular season, he's sitting on 2 interceptions. First, could you have pictured that, and out of a freshman quarterback? And secondly, what are the biggest factors that you think have gone into that kind of protection?
Yeah, I think he respects the football. You've seen it in training camp. You saw it in the spring when he first started, that the ball was not in the defense's hands a lot, and if it was, he got pretty upset about it and never made that mistake again. So I think he does a really good job with that, but also I think Coach Lindsey does a really good job of coaching him through the fundamentals, through the coverage looks, through the progressions of what it is, and don't be afraid to run. Don't be afraid to, sometimes it is, you do need to take the sack, because that's always better. A punt's always better than throwing an interception. But always trying to make the plays when they're at hand. So I think he's done a good job of just taking care of the football and respecting the football and understanding that he's the dude that is responsible for it when it's in his hands.
Over here on the right, Zach.
Obviously, the linebacker room had a big game against Washington, just with those big plays. But how would you assess kind of the play-by-play, play, and how much they've grown throughout the season?
I mean, they've been outstanding. Ernie, just play after play after play. I think he'll be okay too. So update on him, he'll be fine. Jimmy Rolder feels like he might be playing as good as anybody. Just making plays all over the field. I think he had 8 tackles, tackle a half for loss, had the pick. And then Cole Sullivan feels like every time you see him, he's just making a play. And sometimes I forget how young he is. I forget he's a redshirt freshman. but he just keeps making plays over and over. So that group's playing at an elite level.
Ryan?
Piggybacking a little bit on Dennis's question, is what's Brandon Hillman's status, and do you expect Jaden and Mason to start at safety again this week?
We'll see. I think Brandon will practice this week, so we'll just take it day by day and see where he's at. And then TJ will be there, Jaden will be there, Mason will be there, and again same thing with Rod.
All right, we got time for a few more. We'll start on the left with Brandon.
You just kind of touched on this a little bit, but how do you feel about the old saying that some guys just have a knack for being around the ball and Cole? I mean, he just seems to, like you said, make play after play.
And he does. It's like it started really in spring. He just continued to be around the football. I remember in spring he jumped up in the air. Someone threw an over route and he picked it off, and he just continued to happen and happen. He just continued to make plays. I said it in media day in Vegas that I thought he'd be a guy to have a breakout year, and just continues to do that. So I think there's something to it, and but also just doing your job and being in the right position helps.
I might regret this, Angelique.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. Sherrone, you mentioned urgency earlier. Is that applying just for this game, or is that for the whole season?
The whole year. Just every game we go into, there's complacency will take away your edge. And if you get complacent, you get happy, you can be happy about the win, but you can't be complacent about it. You can't be satisfied. So we've got to stay hungry. We've got to stay starving, throughout this process, and that's what we're going to do.
Is that something that came out of the USC game?
Yeah. I mean, it's really what you want all the time, but I think it just revamped, after that game. You seeped it, because not to say that our players weren't urgent or had urgency, but, you go into a game like that and you have results like that, you've got to look at yourself. You got to make adjustments. You got to do things. You got to change a little bit and do some things that help you win that game. So I think the urgency that our team showed in that game will just continue to carry over as we go through the season.